And they're talking about these real problems we're having. And with all that's going on to everyday New Yorkers, we're asking questions that is someone a fascist or is someone a Hitler. That's insulting to me. That is insulting.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about New York City Mayor Eric Adams defending President Donald Trump against allegations of Trump and his followers like you and I being fascist, racist, all the other obits, obes, and this. The main one that Eric Adams responded to was this whole thing about fascism. Now, I think this term is being astroturfed right now, and what I mean by that is the mainstream media and the politicos, they keep talking about it. They keep saying it to hammer it into your mind to make it be a real thing, because all this talk about fascism didn't really happen under his presidency. Did it happen a little bit? Yes, but not to this level. So if he is a fascist, why is it just now being the serious talking point rather than a few years ago when he was in office? But that's a different story. And for now, I digress. Eric Adams is defending Trump. And really, I kind of saw this coming, not because of the federal thing he has going on, these charges. I'll get to that in a little bit. I saw it coming because he has more conservative values. And the main thing, the main issue here is that migrant crisis. I think the migrant crisis is the reason why Eric Adams got caught up with the feds. And it may be the reason why he sees himself on the same page with a Trump, perhaps, rather than the left, who are completely ridiculous right now. Now, before I go any further, let's get into what Eric Adams said. We also have a clip from Trump in which he responds to Eric Adams defending him. So I will link to everything in the box, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
And they're talking about these real problems we're having. And with all that's going on to everyday New Yorkers, we're asking questions that is someone a fascist or is someone a Hitler. That's insulting to me. That is insulting. And I'm not going to engage in that. Everyone needs to turn down the rhetoric. Because after Election Day, we still have to be the United States and not the divided states. And so if people can't understand there are real issues facing New Yorkers, and I just find it just humiliating that what everyday mom and pops are doing and going through across this country, that here we are having this conversation about this silly item.
What Eric Adams is saying here is right on point. We're talking about Trump. Is he a fascist? Is he a racist? The personality traits of the individual person, not policy traits, because he didn't do anything during his time that would lead anyone to believe that, in my opinion. But it's really just about personality. Do you hate the orange man? Is orange man a threat? It's like, well, look, we got moms, pops, kids. You got people in this country truly suffering, truly suffering. Shouldn't that be the focus rather than a quirk about someone's personality?
So I refuse to participate in that. I'm going to fight for New Yorkers like I've done for years, and whomever can understand that, they're not in the streets. When I'm at these town halls, talking to people there, they're not asking me these silly questions. We are in this bubble, you know, and I know you guys really believe these stories you're writing. It gives you a lot of clicks. It's exciting and give you headlines. But this is not what New Yorkers and Americans are dealing with, folks. They are scared of their future. Someone needs to stand up and say enough of this. Tone down the rhetoric, let people hear the facts, let them vote, and let's decide what the next 4 years are going to be for our city. And that's my position. I cannot make it any clearer.
Very well done, Eric Adams. Very well done. Now, some are going to say that you're angling to get pardoned because of the federal charge because you want Trump to win. I mean, that may or may not be the case. I don't know. But that doesn't make what he said any less legitimate. Now, let's get to what Trump said in response. And of course, again, everything will be in the box.
And you know, I want to thank Mayor Adams, because Mayor Adams has been treated pretty badly.
Now, the booing is happening because this is from the New York City, the Madison Square Garden event. So you're in New York. You got a lot of New Yorkers who may not like Eric Adams as their mayor. All right. But Trump is giving them some credit here.
You know, when he said that this whole thing with the migrants coming into New York, this is just not sustainable. You know, we can't do it. We're trying to run a city. We got 100,000 migrants coming. We gotta We can't do it. It just can't do it. It's not feasible. It's not good. He said it very nicely. I said, well, he's going to be indicted by these lunatics for saying that.
Now, a little bit of context here. A while back, during this administration, during the Biden-Harris administration, Eric Adams said that the migrant crisis was going to destroy New York. It was going to ruin New York. And he's been openly critical about the crisis. Now, one day when he was on an airplane going to D.C. to speak about the migrant crisis at the White House, one of his assistants or somebody gets raided. The home gets raided. And from there, it's been downhill. And now they hit him with federal charges. Now, I'm not saying the reason why he is hit with federal charges is because he's been outspoken about the migrant crisis, but I wouldn't put it past our government to engage in lawfare. You see what's happening with Trump. Why wouldn't it be the same thing for an Eric Adams? If they can get the president of the USA caught up in lawfare, why not the mayor of New York City?
A year later, he got indicted. I think they upgraded his seat in an airplane. I heard that's a very serious charge. They've upgraded my seat a lot, too. I used to fly commercial. I don't fly it so much anymore. But they'd see me back there and, sure, would you like an upgrade? I don't know. Maybe it's something else. But I have to tell you, he's been really great. And he said that they shouldn't be calling Trump a dictator because it's not true. That's nice. That was nice. Very nice. So we want to thank Mayor Adams. He's going through a hard time with these people. These are lunatics, by the way. They've weaponized the Justice Department against their political opponent. I am under investigation more than the great, late Alphonse Capone.
Right on point. So shout out to Trump. Shout out to Eric Adams. I like how Eric Adams defended Trump, regardless of what the reasoning could be. Because somebody, again, I know he could be angling for a pardon, but let's talk about that. If the kickback from the left is he's just trying to get a pardon, well, how about all these leftist figures in music who are trying to get Kamala elected? Do they want a pardon? Do they want her to look the other way when this whole Puff Daddy thing comes down the chute? Why are all these Diddy party participants allegedly coming out in favor of Kamala Harris? I'm not saying that they're angling for a pardon. I'm just saying, I mean, there's a connection. You can add 1 + 1 and get 15 if you want to. The same way they do for Trump. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Trump and shout out to Eric Adams. These guys are standing up for what they believe in, standing up for the truth. They're not just saying things that the media wants them to say. They're not saying things that maybe some political advisors would tell them to say to sound better to the general public. They're just calling it how they see it. I don't always agree with Donald Trump, and I most certainly don't really agree too much with Eric Adams, but what they're saying in this instance is true. And that really can't be denied if anybody is being totally honest and objective rather than being biased. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? Do you think Eric Adams said the right thing? Do you think he said the wrong thing? Do you think it was for a particular reason? How about Trump giving Eric Adams a little bit of congratulations for standing up for what's right and calling out the attacks on him? Because it's easy, as I close for real, it's easy for Trump or anyone on the right to just dismiss what's happening to a political opponent or a leftist in general. You could just dismiss it. Oh, so what? That's them. But the problem when you do that is the same thing can happen to you or to your particular candidate. Leftists should look at what's happening to Trump and be afraid. If they can get the president of the USA caught up in lawfare and they're trying to get him locked up on nothing, we all know it's nothing, then what about you? What if you find yourself on the wrong end of the law? Somebody got a problem with you in the police department or in the federal government or something like this, and they drag you through the ringer. You see what I'm saying? This sort of thing shouldn't be happening to anybody in this country, whether it be Trump, Eric Adams, you or I. But whatever your thoughts are, if you find yourself on the wrong end of the law, somebody got a problem with you in the police department or in the federal government or something like this, and they drag you through the ringer. You see what I'm saying? This sort of thing shouldn't be happening to anybody in this country, whether it be Trump, Eric Adams, you or I. But whatever your thoughts are, But that's pretty much all I got. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.